Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are going to make the easiest washcloth you will ever make. That's what I named it. That's what it is. It is so simple. Now this is washcloth 2 of 2. We already made one and this one is right here, Simply Divine. It's called the Even Moss Stitch Washcloth. We did that one a couple of days ago and today we're working on this one. And once again, all it's called is the easiest washcloth you will ever make. Super easy, all right? Now, colour combination today was chosen by the lovely Cherry Cathy during one of our live antics on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. So there you go. In the meantime, oh, by the way, Dove being my favourite soap, I do tend to use that a lot when we do washcloths. Not the same bar, of course. There's different ones all the time. Don't you love it? The same bar, what? Today, the yarn you'll be using is a 10 ply or a 4 weight cotton. It is 100% cotton. It is a 4 weight or a 10 ply. Last week, 2 days ago, I should say, when we made this one here, we made that one with the 8 ply, which is a 3 weight cotton. Okay, today's one is a 4 weight cotton. It's a little thicker than that one. So there you go. With this one here, and there's a lot of threads hanging off it, we'll just leave it like that. With this one here, you will need a 5mm hook. That's the one I used today. Yes, you will need a pair of scissors. You will need your stitch markers too. Yes, you will need your sewing needle. You will need to weave in 2 threads, one at the beginning, one at the end. I'm trying to remember where it was now. And we'll leave those there. And you will need this guy if you are wanting to make it the same size as me, which was 8 inches by 8 inches. And then it's entirely up to you. You can make yours bigger, you can make yours smaller. By the way, 8 inches is 20 centimetres. So if you're wanting to use centimetres, you can. All right, so you can make yours larger. And I mentioned that throughout the tutorial. The idea with a washcloth is big enough so that your hand can wash or wash the product you're washing. You know, wash baby, whatever it is you want to use your washcloth for. She's made up all the things for you, yeah? All right, so without further ado, we're going to make the easiest washcloth you'll ever make. Good luck all. We're going to start off by making a slip knot. Grab the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it down there. Grab your back loop, passing it halfway over your finger, hold it there, grab the other loop, passing it all the way over, pop your hook in that loop you just made and just give it a tug. Yeah. Make sure your tail is long enough for weaving. I always leave such a long tail. It maybe doesn't need to be that long, but there you go. Anyway, moving right along, we are going to start off by making chains, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook, 1, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 3, yarn over, 4, yarn over, 5. All right, so the bonus about this pattern is there's no count. Well, there is. You still have to keep the count at the end of each row, but you don't have to multiples of 2 this, multiples of 5, nothing. Just chains all the way through to as long as you want your project to be. If you decide not to make a washcloth and to make a blanket, by all means, go right up to 150, 220, 310, whatever it is you want your blanket size to be. But for us, it's a washcloth, so I've got 5 I want to make. Let's just say 30 chains, yeah? If you want yours larger, then just make it extra, yeah? So I've done 5. I'm going to pop this on fast and we're going to go right up to 30, okay? And off we go. 6, 29 and 30. All right. Oh, let's bring that out a little bit. You should have 30 chains all the way across. Now, to start our pattern, we want to chain just 1 more. All right. So chain 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to start our work by using a stacked single crochet or a standing double crochet. Okay. And that is popping your hook in the very first loop you see, like so. Pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. And now what you want to do, that very base loop there, you're going to pop your hook, you're going to skip the top loop you see there, go to the base loop there, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now you're going to grab a stitch marker and pop it in the top 2 loops of that stitch there. All right, like so. Perfect. That is your first, classified as your first double crochet for the round. All right, so now your job is to do, and this is so easy, double crochet US, treble UK all the way across your piece. So you're in that stitch there, yarn over your hook. You're in that stitch, you want to jump over to the next stitch, which is just a top loop right there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Double crochet US, treble UK. You're going to do the same in every stitch all the way across. Find your very next loop, pull through, 3 loops, yarn over, 2, 2 loops, yarn over, 2, and do it again. Yarn over your hook, into the loop, pull a loop through, 3 loops, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. And that's it. It's as simple as that. It just takes a little longer because there's 30 stitches, right? But it's such an easy pattern. You won't realise how easy this pattern is, yeah? All right, so I don't want you to sit there and watch me do this, but what I'm going to do is not get you to come back. I'm just going to pop this on fast and make sure you do a double crochet into every stitch, get to this section here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Now, if you want to slow your video down, you can do that through your settings. And off we go. Alright guys, here I am at the end of the row. I have one last chain right there and you can see it. Just pop my hook in that chain like so. And then we have the knot. Well, you need a knot, otherwise your work is going to come undone, yeah? So the bonus is, if you played your cards right, you would have 30 stitches across. So we're going to count that now real quickly. And that's the little V's you see right here. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We had 31 chains, yes, and then we lost a chain when we did our single crochet on top of our single crochet kind of thing. So you should all have 30 stitches across, and you know what? If you have 31 or if you have 29, it doesn't matter. It's a tiny millimetre less than what you need, all right? But if you have like 3 less, I would start to think that might be too short, yeah? But there you go. If you've got more, that's okay, all right? Now, this is going to be a 2-row repeat pattern, but it's the easiest repeats you'll ever have to make, which is fantastic, yeah? All right, so first thing you're going to do is chain 1, and we're going to turn our work. You can turn it this way, or you can turn it that way. It's whatever suits you. I always turn my work like I'm turning the page in a book. And you can see these holes up the top, they are the stitches. These bars you see here, they're the posts. You don't need to worry about them in this tutorial, okay? But what you can do now is do a single crochet in that very first stitch, that single crochet US, double crochet UK. So you pop your hook in the stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now, the beginning stitch and the last stitch of this row, you will always do your single crochet in the actual stitch. Easy. But when you are doing your the rest of your stitch, you're doing your single crochets in your front loops only. All right, so a little different there. So let's show you quickly what those loops are. This is the stitch right here. Yeah, that's the stitch that you just did your single crochet into. This little loop you see right here, that's the front loop of your stitch, and that is the back loop. So front loops only mean you pop your hook in that very first top loop you see, not the back loop there, but the front loop there. All right, so single in that first stitch, there's your next stitch, but we want the front loop only. Remember, we're doing singles, so all we're doing is popping our hook. Let's say if we were going to do it in the stitch, we'd be like that, but we're going to take it out and do that front loop right there. Pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. That's your single crochet US, double crochet UK in the front loop only. Do it into the very next stitch. Once again, you're grabbing 1 loop, okay, and again into the next, and so on, all the way through your piece. Super duper easy, yeah? And look how fast the action happens, because you're only pulling a loop through. You're not doing too much, not really. I'm already a quarter of the way through the piece, yeah? All right, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do it. I'm not going to let you head off. I'm just going to let you watch this on fast. And just get to the end of the row. Don't do the last stitch, all right? But just do the front loops only of all other stitches. Now you can slow your video down if you like, but off we go doing single crochets in the front loops only. Second last stitch right there, and there's my last stitch. All right, so what you have now is that our first stitch, we went into the whole stitch and not the front loop. We're going to do exactly the same. All right, so all you're doing is popping your hook in the whole stitch of your stitch marker stitch. Remove our stitch marker for a moment, yeah, and do your single crochet. All right. So what you've done is the first, let's try it again. What you've done is the first row repeat. Okay, that's the first row. Now we're going to do the second row repeat, which once again is super easy. And to be honest with you, even though it's a larger stitch, to me, it feels a little bit more comfortable to do. I have more of a flow with it, yeah? All right, so what we do normally is chain 1, but we're not going to chain 1 for this stitch. And this stitch is the stacked single crochet that we did there. Let's try that again. The stacked single crochet stitch that we did there. All right, so what we're going to do is just turn our work. We're not chaining 1. Now, if you accidentally chain 1, don't stress. All it does is leave a little tiny bump at the end of the row. And we don't need the bump in this pattern, all right? So you hold your thumb on your yarn, on the hook, pop your hook in the stitch, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Now remember before when we did the stacked single crochet or the standing double crochet, we skipped that first loop you see and we popped a single crochet in the next loop, or the base loop I like to call it, base side loop, yeah? Pop your hook in that last loop, pull your loop through like so, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, grab your stitch marker. Super easy. Now your double crochet, your stacked single crochet and your double crochet at the end of the row will be placed in your stitch. But for all other double crochets across your row, they go into the back loop only. So before we were going into that front loop only, weren't we, with our single crochets? Now for our double crochets, you pop your yarn over your hook. We're in that stitch, we want to go into the next. We turn our work towards us and you see a little V there. That's your front loop, that's your back loop. Pop your hook in the back loop, pull a loop through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops left, yarn over, pull through the last 2. Let's do that again. Yeah, yarn over your hook. That's the whole stitch. We don't want the front, we want the back. Yep, super easy, super easy. And the bonus about this stitch is, and we'll just keep it on, on a roll, yeah, is that it's like a normal double crochet, which it is, you're only popping it in the back loop. So if you are now used to doing double crochets, you're going to fly through this. Just remember to pop your double crochets in the back loop and your single crochets in the front loop. And that's all you need to remember. Okay, I went silent there. Sorry, guys. It happens. So what I'm going to do is pop this on fast once again. We're going to do the double crochets in the back loop all the way across. Get to your second last stitch right there. Yeah, and I will meet you there once you're done. All right, so off we go. Alrighty, I'm on my second last stitch, back loop only, once again, and you can already, oops, lost my stitch there. You can already start to see the little, raise, little bumpy raise there, yeah. Alright, last stitch, what are you doing? Easy, double crochet in the whole stitch, like so. Alright, remove your stitch marker. Let's just chain 1 here. All right, we chain 1 when we're going to do our single crochet row. We don't chain 1 when we're going to do our double crochet row. But again, if you chain 1, it's not going to make too much of a difference. So if you've done a chain 1 right down here and you're 3/4 of the way through your piece, you're not going to go back and change it. No, you won't see a difference. So that's the bonus about, messing up with the stitch. This is exactly the pattern, guys. It is a 2-row repeat. The first row is a single crochet in your first stitch, and then in the front loops only until you get to your second last stitch, and then you single crochet in the last stitch. Then you turn and do your standing double crochet or stacked single crochet, and you do your double crochets in the back loops only of all your stitches until you get to your last stitch, and that's where you do your double crochet in the actual stitch. So it is such an easy pattern. Single crochet, remember, front loops. Double crochet, remember, back loops. But first and last are always done in the actual stitch. All right, super easy. It's a 2-row repeat. How big would you like to make yours, I hear you ask? It doesn't matter. Turn your work to the side, grab your little measuring tape and make it as big as you like. So if you want to make a blanket, just keep going. Yeah, maybe not that big. But anyway, no, really, you could make it that big. But for me, I found if I did 18 rows, I made 20 centimetres or 8 inches. All right, look, it doesn't really matter anyway. You just get to the measurement that you like. But the rows I'm going to give you are to repeat these last 2 rows 9 times. So you need to do another 18 rows, okay? 1 row single crochet front loops, 1 row double crochet back loops. You need 18 of those rows, all right? And that's pretty much it. So I want you now to head off on your own. Repeat these last 2 rows. I will leave a little timer up here for you to do your very next row, which will be your single crochet row. So repeat these last 2 rows 9 more times, or 9 sets, or at least do 18 rows of pattern. Meet me back here once you're done, and then we will talk about finalising our washcloth. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our rows. Now I have 18 rows. You could have made more, yeah? So I did 9 rows of each row, if you think about it. So 9 rows of the double and 9 rows of the single. And I did 18 altogether, which made exactly 20 centimetres. I'm so far away, I'm sorry. Exactly 20 centimetres or 8 inches. But here we go again. You don't have to have that many rows if you don't want to. You could have had less, you could have had more, depending on the way you'd like to suit it. But once again, I pop my hand on it. If it fits my hand, then it's fine. All right, hope that made sense. Yeah, but anyway, I ended up on the double crochet row, which is where we should have ended up. Yep. And let's do the very last bit. Last bit, super easy. Once again, we've done these in the past. We'll do it again. Yarn over our hook. The very last stitch, what were we doing? We were popping our double crochet in the actual stitch and not in the back loop, yeah? And then you just do your normal pull through. And then you just make a loop. Whoops, let's try that again. A loop, pull it up, nice and tall. Yep, and that didn't work. Let's try it again. Yellow. All right, so make your loop, give it a cut, pull that tail through, grab your sewing needle. All right, so let's move everything out the way. Grab your sewing needle and thread your needle. And what we're going to do now is flip our little guy, and we're going to work and weave our tail in through the back. So the best thing I like to do with tails in general is to weave them in through an area where we just finished. That was the tail we just finished. I'm sorry, try that again. That was the stitch we just finished, yeah? So what you want to do is you want to go back into the stitch just before it. So right there's the, I'll try that again, sorry. There's your stitch just before it, yeah? See where the needle's coming out of? See the little loop under the needle? That's the loop you need to go into, the back loop of that. Rather than the whole stitch, just the back loop of that base of that stitch. It's kind of not really a base. It's like a third loop of that stitch, if you want to call it that. So pop it through that loop. And again, I checked the front to make sure I couldn't see the needle, but pop it through and your tail goes right into there. So your knot gets hidden. The little knot that you had right there, that gets hidden. Then you turn it over and you work along these stitches here somewhere. You can go across this way, you can go down this way. In the last washcloth, I went like that. This one here, I might go like that, I might come back and then go down here, just for something a little different. All right. Now, the way I weave in ends, in my opinion, and this is my opinion because a lot of people tell me off for doing this, I split threads, I split stitches, and I make sure I don't see the needle from the front, because if you can see the needle from the front, you're going to notice the weave-in, right? There. And then I split some more. Why? Because I can. And I'm always checking, all right? I'm going to pop this on fast, okay? If you want to slow down your video, you can. Don't pull this too tight or this is going to happen. Yeah? Don't pull it too tight. Let me straighten that up now. All right, and off we go and weave in our ends. All right, so you can go further if you like. I'm going to leave it there. You can go 3 times, 4 times. You can come down here. I was going to come down here. I'm not going to do that now. I might do that with the base thread, yeah? Oh, by the way, you have to weave in your base thread as well. That's this guy right here. And you can do that off air. And let me take out this stitch marker, flatten everything out nice and straight. Grab my favourite Dove soap. Once again, a very special thank you to the lovely Cherry Cathy for her colour combination in today's tutorial during our live antics. All right. If you wanted to be a part of live antics, please join us at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings, Melbourne, Australia time. Marry that up with your country. We do lives every Saturday mornings, and that's where one lucky subscriber gets to choose the colour combination of our next tutorial. Once again, thank you, Cherry Cathy. And that's all I want to say, guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Mary, and this is Wow Crochet Designs. Ciao for now.